Hi, this is the WTF SDK Playable Character Tutorial Part 5, and we're basically ready to test the animation we've just created. So what we need is a working player character and a zone to spawn the character in. So let's get started. So for now, same thing that you do with animation packages, change the tab in your resource browser to players, and then hit new. That would open up the player editor with the option to kind of create a new playable character. So one thing that you want to note is that instead of identify, you have names. And names in the context of the editor means it's something that you'll probably see somewhere in the game. So you want to make sure that you want to give a name that kind of makes sense. So, I don't know, let's call this guy the gnome. And as a player character, you want to set up a, so this is sort of the stat progression chart, which is actually required in order to get the player up and running. So, and since it's sort of the quick and dirty version of it, I'm just going to set up a new stat template. We name it to player template. Well, I'll go over this in due time. But for now, I'm just going to import that quickly. None of these are required. But however, I do need the in-game graphics, so I'm going to click on the package. And what you see here is this is sort of the import interface that you see throughout the entire sets of editors that we have here in the SDK. What it does is it allows you to use an interface that's similar to the resource browser, but pretty much what you want to do is just select something that's pre-existing. So in this case, I already have the known player animation package, and I'm just going to click OK. And what it does is it actually imports all the animation that I have in this package, and then put them in the proper context of a playable character. Now, final thing that I want to do before I get this player up and running is to set some capabilities which basically indicates how fast he runs, how high he jumps, that kind of thing. And just going to quickly set up some of these values here. Let's say he runs at a speed of 15 pixels per frame, by the way, jumps at an initial speed of 30, affected by gravity, of course. And you can test these animations really quickly by going to the preview window, select animation, and then change the animation to the ones that you want to see. So here we have the move animation that I created before. Here's the jump. And you kind of see that as I change the velocity of my character, you know, he can jump higher or lower, which is why we want to make sure that the animations are set at the proper center points. And actually, we're just about done. So the last thing that I need to do is set up a default starting zone for the player. Otherwise, the player would actually have nowhere to spawn. So what I want to do is go back to the resource browser, change the tab to zones, and create a new zone. So unlike the other editors, when you create a zone, it doesn't automatically open up the editor. So what you want to do is select the zone, clicking on it, and use the first icon at the bottom right corner, which is the edit icon, and click on that, and that would open up the zone editor. So basically the zone that comes pre-packaged when you create a new zone works just fine for testing purposes. So all I really need to do is give this thing a proper name. The name is starter zone. Alright, save. And I can probably close that. So the final step in order to get a character up and running is need to change the default starting zone from nothing to the zone that we just created. So I need to save that player character, and now we're ready to test. So to test, just open up the folder where your project is and open up the HTML file. You see we don't have a profile animation, but at least the character name's there. He's level 1, and we can jump in and see him kind of move around. So it's kind of boring, but then again, we do have a working character that's able to run, jump, attack. It's pretty fun. So in the next tutorial, I'm just going to go back to the player editor and start going over some of the components like the stats and the portrait system in more detail.